Hey everyone, Meinke from MLive.com. Joined by Justin Rogers. Justin, we've talked about our most improved players. We've talked about our biggest surprises, and there's been many of them in Lions camp. But if you have surprises, you've also got disappointments. And we've seen a few of them. I know we're both kind of disappointed with Alex Carter, and he hasn't been out there. The rookie cornerback, who's supposed to be one of the top reserves. But non-injury division, who is your biggest disappointment so far of training camp?
Yeah, I've been kind of, I guess, picking on all the popular fan base players, but I'm going to go with Kellen Moore. I think this was a big opportunity for him. We saw steady improvement from him from his rookie season, where he didn't look like he belonged at all, into last season, where it looked like he deserved maybe a more legitimate shot at that backup quarterback job. They've given him that shot this year. And it's still early. There's still 3 games to play. I think he's going to continue to get that look, but he has not looked good in camp. He made a couple critical mistakes, I thought, in the preseason opener. And, the window of opportunities are there, and he's not taking advantage of it.
Yeah, that's the disappointing thing, I think, with Moore. You're never looking, we never expected, I think, too much out of the backup quarterbacks, but it's that we saw some good things from Kellen last year. I think we both thought that he could have been the backup last year. Didn't really get that opportunity. It wasn't really an open competition, I don't think. This year it has been open competition. He's gotten tons of opportunities with the second-team offense, including in the game, and just hasn't done a whole lot with it. And he's looked pretty rough, I think, for stretches. And even when he's been out there with the first-unit line, which we saw briefly in the preseason game, just hasn't done a whole lot with it. But for me, the biggest disappointment is Larry Webster. And he's a guy who was supposed to step up, or we were expecting to step up this year with some of the departures we saw on the offensive line. On the defensive line, namely George Johnson, the top reserve, and so that job was open. And we both thought that Larry Webster would be in that discussion. I know Jim Caldwell was high on him throughout the offseason and his development, especially physically. I talked to Larry Webster once during the program over the summer, and he said he had put on 15, 20 pounds and was in his best shape, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Some of these platitudes you hear from guys in the camp, and sometimes these platitudes turn out to be real, like Karan Reed, sometimes not. And I think at this point we're seeing Larry Webster falling in that latter camp. He just hasn't done a whole lot in one-on-ones or in team drills. He seems to be well behind Devin Taylor at this point in the hierarchy, and I was expecting to see a lot more out of him, and he's been pretty well handled, I think. Even today we saw him worked over a little bit by Michael Williams.
It's not close in the competition with Taylor. Taylor has separated himself. He's getting some first-team work, which is deserved. He's been probably their best pass-rushing defenseman in camp thus far. With Webster, the physical transformation, I think, is there. You could see the size, the weight is there. I think he has good power. I think he has good speed off the snap, but it's like he doesn't know what he's doing when he gets to the offensive lineman. The pass rush moves are very underdeveloped. They seem to be easily countered even by an inexperienced lineman like Michael Williams. And until Webster develops a more full array of pass rush moves, or even a go-to move or two, he's going to continue to be buried on that depth chart. He didn't play a snap last year. With Darryl Tapp playing the way he's played and with Taylor playing the way he's played, I don't know how much Webster's going to see the field early in the season, if at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't totally rule out the prospect that he doesn't make the 53. And I think that's unlikely. I think he makes the 53. Yeah. He was a 4th-round pick from last year. I'm just saying, don't rule it out, because we have seen very little from him, and they might try to throw him on the practice squad and develop him there if he's not snapped up by somebody else. And he just hasn't shown a lot, and in previous years maybe the Lions stick with him and hope for development, but I'm not sure that they have that luxury now with the roster improving and the depth and some of these roster spots that need to go elsewhere, even to a guy like Cujo we see in the middle. You know, I could see a scenario where they go one extra at defensive tackle if they want to hang on to him. Again, unlikely. I think Webster makes it just out of the fact that he's a 4th-round pick, but don't rule out the fact the Lions the possibility that they try to cut him.
Yeah, Alex Carter makes that situation, I think, troubling, because they're probably going to need to take an extra veteran cornerback into the season. I think they're going to keep 6 there, depending on how long Carter's out and how he immediately responds when he does get back on the field. But that depth is probably going to be taken away from the defensive line to roster that spot.
That's what we got for today. Kind of a down topic, but we have talked about the positives and the guys standing out, so we thought balanced approach would be talking about some of the negatives and some of the guys who are on the bubble at this point. For Justin Rogers, I'm Kyle Meinke. We are MLive. Keep it right here.